likely to nominate Barack Obama?
Toward all conservatives have a libertarian streak and a social conservative streak. I've been driven toward the libertarian side for a while now by McCain-Feingold and
Someone
related
speculated that the libertarian idea is a growing idea in America.
I think it is. I think it is. Partly because in the circle comes round and you meet sort of anti-war conservatives and anti-war liberals.
Right.
You find conservatives who worry about the war on drugs and who worry about the government wrongly throwing its weight around on the issue of marriage, that kind of thing. So the circle gets closed.
We just went through ends today, most of the Democratic primary season. Why do you think the Democrats are likely to nominate Barack Obama?
Because he's a brilliant politician and this is a political process. He took to school the Clinton machine. Douglas MacArthur said that in military disasters, everything's explainable by two words: too late. Hillary Clinton was too late in understanding the importance of the caucus states, too late in understanding that there would be a fight after Super Tuesday, February 5th. Too late in understanding the power of the internet and raising money. Barack Obama is a kind of prodigy, looking at politics fresh, because he was new to it at the national level, saw things the veterans didn't see.
Yeah, but I mean, when I hear that argument, and I know it is made, that she made all these mistakes, I mean, it wasn't just her. I mean, there was a group of people around. Her husband was called the smartest politician of his generation.
By some people.
Not by you.
No. Smartest politician. Look, he gets elected in '92. He leaves Washington in 2000. There are fewer Democratic senators, fewer Democratic congressmen, fewer Democratic governors, fewer Democratic state legislators around the country.
Re-elected, and he's the only, how many Democrats have been elected to 2 terms in the post-war era?
One.
One.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you get to 2000, peace and prosperity, and he can't oversee the election of his vice president. I just don't understand the political brilliance argument.
Well, some would argue that was because his vice president didn't want him to campaign for him.
Perhaps.
We'll come back to that. But but Obama is more than the mistakes of Hillary Clinton.
That's right.
How much of this is Obama winning rather than Hillary Clinton losing?
Oh, it's a lot of Obama winning.
What is that about?
It is, first of all, I think for every vote he loses because he's black, he gains 3 or 4 because he's black. There's an enormous reservoir of goodwill in the country and eagerness.
They like feeling good about themselves because there's somebody that I believe so strong about in the country, and by the way, he happens to be black.
Well, that makes it sound like moral narcissism, and it's better than that.
Okay.
People want to feel that the country has closed
I agree.
a parenthesis.
Absolutely.
And
much better way to look at it.
It's done.
Yeah. They want to feel good about the country.
And doing so, it puts paid to the whole Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton school of racial rhetoric. Get over it. Get it passed.
But as a young, this is a young man who somehow, how much of it, I'll ask the question this way, how much of it you think was this country was at a point in which it had a huge desire to find some vessel, and there he was, because of its frustration, because of what it feared about what was happening to this American that we talked about at the beginning of this conversation. And there he was, independents, young people, a range of people, and he had the core support. But he didn't have it at the beginning. He built the core support of African Americans.
That's right. A large political figure needs to fit the moment.
Exactly.
It's the equivalent of send me men to match my mountains. Send me someone to match the moment. And this may be his moment. Too early to say, but it's a wonderful contest between...
What ought to be the debate between Barack Obama and John McCain? What should it be about?
Well, it's going to be, first of all, I'll tell you what it's going to be, which is obvious. It's going to be about whether or not the Democratic nominee is competent to be commander-in-chief.
Well, you have said that if he... Go ahead.
If he solves that problem, he's elected. So in a way, we're going to have a monomaniacal campaign from John McCain saying he's not ready to be president. Now,
they've tried that, haven't they, in the Democratic primary?
That's right, but they didn't try it against a 72-year-old war hero who's been running for president for 10 years and has honed his skills and his argument.
Well, has he?
Well, that's a good question. I think John McCain is an angry man, and the peculiar intimacy with which we live with our presidents now, they're in our living room 24 hours a day, every night at the dinner hour. People don't want an angry man in their living room. Just don't. So John McCain has to watch that. Barack Obama has two problems.
He's perceived as angry about what?
I don't know. He's just inherently angry. It's partly because he practices the politics of honor, of righteousness, of his hero Teddy Roosevelt, which is to say, when people disagree with him, they're not just wrong, they're dishonorable in some way.
Yeah, but in many ways he also seemed to enjoy the process. That's why he had so many friends in the media.
He did enjoy the process, and indeed the media became his political base.
That's what he said frequently.
That's right. And now we will see, now that they have a new love affair, well, that's going to go. I mean, the three great love affairs in world history were Romeo and Juliet, Abelard and Eloise, and the American media and Barack Obama. And we'll see how long this one lasts.
Why do you think that's true? The media loved Obama.
Well, he's a great story.
Right.
They like change, they like novelty.
Right. Hillary Clinton was a great story.
Well, Hillary Clinton was a familiar story, in a sense, an old story by the time she had her new incarnation as a candidate.
All right. You think that if he can convince the country that I'm prepared to be commander-in-chief, how do we measure that, first of all? And how will the system test that?
Well,
the process.
It'll be this way. He has two questions. One is, people may look at him and say, bright guy, intelligent, articulate, public-spirited, glad he's in politics, but not president, not now. A more dangerous problem for him is people will look at him and say, he's not us. Something about him's different.
So he has to go out there now.
This is why.
Not say I'm not. I am you, but say this is who I am.
This is
and
why.
He's begun to do that with, in fact, the divorce from the church and that he had been going to, and in a sense going to places and
suffering landslide defeats in West Virginia and Kentucky. Went to that question. They said he's not one of us, and he has to correct that.
John Kennedy won in West Virginia, wasn't one of them either.
They didn't feel that way. Franklin Roosevelt, a squire. Franklin Roosevelt's a squire from the Hudson Valley, was one of them.